Welcome back to the DreamHack Championship for Rocket League here in Sweden. We are so excited of the matches that have happened. Gale Force just had a slobber knocker against the Skater Boys. They were able to knock them out cleanly, but we saw Survivors at the top of the show, and they're going to be going up against Team Infused, a fan favorite from around here. Doomsy and the boy is going to be on the stage for the first time.
Doom 2E.
Doom 2E?
That's how it's supposed to be, thanks to Cole.
Why?
Because he wrote that on his own chest after a Gfinity, came over, he put the Z the wrong way, or the S the wrong way, so it was a 2 instead.
That's, his name's still, it's called Leet Speech.
It's just
A 2 can be
just
a Z.
blame Cole.
Speaking of which, in our last match, the Skater Boys, they had the player Kappa. He spelled it with a 3.
We
in no
noticed.
Dialect of Leet is a 3 and A.
It's a
so
4,
his name
right?
is actually Keppa. Yeah, it should have
Keppa.
been a 4.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like a
Keppa.
good name for a hamster.
I'm also going to put out that I think Keppa was one of the best looking cars we've seen so far. He had a Dominus GT with a Sweden flag. You don't see flags very often on the pro stages. He had the RLCS decal, had the Marauder wheels, and a yellow Ion. I really liked his car. He's in the running right now, up there with Nyx and Colorblind.
I'm still with Nyx.
Still with Nyx?
Got it with the green, yeah.
What's on the line here? What the players stand to win? From yourself?
Caleb's favorite car, Wavepunk's favorite car.
That's
DreamHack.
pretty good.
That's
It's
a
a
big
pretty good
honor.
one.
That's a really big honor.
So guys, talk to me about Infused. Talk to me about Survivors. We've seen Survivors now once. We've seen Infused for a while. Talk to me about this, Shogun.
Well, we'll see a lot of experience on this team. Doomsy, obviously, been around since the SART BC days. A lot of these players, I think, know exactly what they are doing. Infused, though, one of those teams that have always been on the cusp of greatness, just never getting the results for it, though.
Yeah, missing out on RLCS Season 3 group stage by a couple of rounds. They were really disappointed, and they're also disappointed at Insomnia 60, where they went in as the favorites, but they were unable to come away with that title, losing at the last hurdle to their rivals, Diffused Boys.
But this
will we
is,
see a repeat of that?
without doubt, the highest level we've had in one of these games so far across both teams.
Oh yeah.
They should be very well evenly matched.
We have Survivors coming back, a team who have already won a series here. Closer series than we expected for Zidrox, Zanid, and Nyx. But this should be much harder for them.
Certainly should be, and they barely scraped by earlier on against Game Effect. But this is a match that if they win, they will go through to the next heat.
Yeah, that'll be
which will be
them through
happening
to
later
the
on
next
today.
group stage, for sure. This is winners finals, I believe, from group stage number 1. So the winner of this will go through into group stage number 2 as the first seed, which is important because that means an easier run into the top 8. And top 8 is the money, so these teams definitely want that. Bluey starting things off with a rebound play. Nicely set up by Sebedam.
Yeah, very well done. This is one of the things that this team does very well in terms of getting passes without even allowing the ball to touch the floor. This was definitely a much smaller version of it, but they can do that across the entire pitch. They have won numerous amounts of the Rocket Dailies just with those sorts of plays.
Yeah, Bluey is now a is a champion of Insomnia, formerly, and grand finalist at the last one. So no stranger to land stages. One of the more experienced players, certainly for his age. And he's always been the player to watch for Infused. Loves to air dribble the ball, loves to come off the wall, loves to come off the ceiling, so we'll be looking out for him in high places. Sebedam, usually the sweeper of the team, so letting Doomsy and Bluey go forward and get into attacking positions. And he was the one who was most disappointed by their loss at Insomnia 60, so this will be, for him, for Sebedam, definitely a story of revival, if he can do well here at this tournament in DreamHack.
And Infused doing a very good job so far of just keeping the survivors in their own half. I don't think the ball has sustained any meaningful amount of time in Infused's final third, as they continuously have someone on that backboard or the back rotation. We saw Bluey doing it that time. That's going to be a pass looking for Sebedam, but Sebedam chooses just to leave it. You can see very good L rotations coming out by Team Infused. They know they've got the lead, and they don't want to try and push their luck.
I'm starting to feel a swing of momentum, though, as we did see consistent pressure coming out of Infused to start off this game. And then we saw a little bit of a midfield battle, and now finally Survivors are getting that ball into the Infused end for sustained periods of time. And will they be able to get this ball into dangerous positions without overcommitting? They're continuing to find these angles, but will they be able to utilize them? Once again, they're not really positioned and stationed at that far post preemptively, and having to make these really awkward flight paths across the goal in order to reach the ball. Oh, huge opportunity, bar down. yet again.
Just becoming a little bit too passive here is Team Infused. Always leaving it for that final player. That does mean it's going to allow Survivors to start to grow into the series. Double commit there, and
There it
Doomsy is
is.
just going to have to watch as Survivors put the ball past them. We are tied up.
Zidrox gets the goal. Really well done there by Nyx, just to pull out the defenders. He threatened a shot, and they both bit that bait, and now they regret it because they've allowed Survivors to come back into this game. The momentum certainly was clearly swinging towards Survivors, and will it continue to do so? That is really worrying for Infused, that they've let Survivors claw back into this game in a controlled manner.
Well, Infused are certainly one of those teams of their highs are very high and their lows can be excessively low. Not one of the most consistent teams that we have in Europe, but when they do play very well. Doomsy's going to look for the setup towards Sebadam. He tries to get a double tap, but he cannot quite get it there. I can see Sebadam, he got the call in from Bluey. Now trying to go for a double tap for himself, and he looks for it for Bluey yet again.
There.
More and more players getting pulled out. Doomsy thinks twice about it, and probably the right thing to do considering a player was ready to put it to the side.
Yeah, Doomsy didn't want to move in there on such a risky center ball. It was low, and both of his teammates low on boost,
well
and
done.
they didn't need to. They've drawn all of Survivors out of their half. Quick counter attack. Sebadam waits upfield, makes that run, beats the defenders to the ball. I don't think they expected Sebadam to be there so quickly because he was in their blind spot that entire time. Good speed from Sebadam.
Well, considering most players have got bull cam on, he would be completely away. And you usually expect any sort of defender to be right back in that final third. So yes, Sebadam coming in and completely taking it. And they find Team Infused in the lead yet again by 1 goal, but this time they will not want to let it slip.
Doomsy's had a very quiet game, I would say, so far. He's back in the Octane. His time in a different car has come to an endo.
I think he's played pretty much every car at this point.
Yeah.
He's been through a lot of them. As we'll be looking at Zidrox's need, see if those two can come together.
This is going to be a tricky tie game. A lot of boost being used just to get back into
no,
defense
they didn't need
now.
that.
Ball kicks off the wall. Looks like it's going to be Team Infused, unless a miracle can happen. Or Survivors. They're still alive here. Continue to be alive, but not in a comfortable position, and that's going to be game 1-0. Infused get that lead that they so desperately want. Look at Doomsy in the middle, so happy with himself. Bluey grinning ear to ear. That's what I like to see.
Such a showman is Doomsy. But yeah, as you saw, the ball kicking off that side of the wall, you see a lot of teams do it when it gets to 0 seconds because it is the best place to have the ball to carry it across the field without it touching the floor, which would end the game. But didn't go well for them, and Infused had to fight for it, but they do take game number 1.
It's clear that they were under control in the beginning, and actually getting that goal gave them a little bit too much complacency. They sat back and they let Survivors find their rotation and find their boost patterns as they were driving around, making sure that they all had full canisters at their disposal. Find the tie game as well from an unforced error coming out of Infused, double committing for a shot attempt coming out of Survivors. It really didn't look that threatening in front of the net.
It's a case of, we've seen a lot of teams go on there, especially when we saw Survivors earlier against Game Effect. A lot of teams can go on there and be very nervous. That time around, it wasn't the case for Infused. They seemed a little too relaxed, almost. And just, they thought they knew they had it. And Zidrox, Need, and Nyx had different things to say about that.
And we did see a 3-game series from Survivors earlier today, where they were able to take game 2 very convincingly, 6-0. Although it's not the most one-sided game we've seen today. Courtesy of Gale Force. And Nyx is off to quite some force here, 1-0 very early on.
Last time the ball kick out didn't work well for them at the end of the last game. This time it worked out beautifully for them. Ball kicking out just off that side of the wall. The oncoming defender not able to predict it. And that is going to be a simple finish off and the exact start that Survivors needed.
Survivors are not a team to take lightly. They're the team that we started off the show with, and we didn't recognize the team name. And when we saw the roster on the website, we realized, oh, this is actually a good team.
This is high-ranked European players.
Very high-rated European players who have made surges into the pro-level play over the past year or so. this being one of them. Certainly not going to give easy wins to anybody, although I think if they come up against a Gale Force, like we saw from the third series of the day, they might be under a lot of trouble. Right now, they're really boxing Infused into their half.
And Bluey found himself backwards, ended up doing a backflip, could not get to the ball. Doomsy,
dunk
he's
by
actually got that
Doomsy.
in a very dangerous position, but there will be no commit. Now Bluey can come straight in from that third man
Oh,
position.
what a
Goes for
recovery!
the rebound shot. And Bluey evens this game up.
That was beautifully done by Bluey. Flies down to the ground, and then in an instant he's back up and has to dodge early to recorrect his alignment. But he finds the top corner in doing so. Very well done. Doomsy, always a smile on his face. He's happy to be carried by Bluey any day of the week. And last time I checked, this is a day of the week. So this will be
Hates
delighted.
when people say that.
I know
He
does.
hates it. Say it more.
I think he loves it.
He,
He
oh,
loves it secretly.
that's going to be in a dangerous position yet again. Great touch there by Nyx, taking it away from the oncoming third man. And now, oh, that touch from Zidrox is actually going to ruin Nyx. Now Bluey can push this forward. That's not going to be on target, but
way.
he can get there in
Bluey.
time. Bluey latches onto the mistake and completely rips it apart.
He had a bump onto Sneed there, and that is what set up that opportunity. He was able to get a bump that completely threw out the third man from the rotation of survivors and create an opportunity for himself, which was actually the goal to give them the lead here. We have to remember, although Infused are the favorites here, it was a tie game up until that moment.
Just a case of survivors need to find their footing and they need to not make any more mistakes. Because a lot of these goals have been conceded by exactly that, mistakes either side. That's going to be put towards the net, but it will be slowly trickling. Plenty of time left in this matchup. That is not going to be anywhere close to what Zidrox can deal with. Far too much power, and now Bluey puts it straight up to Doomsy, but well controlled. As now Bluey goes up yet again, and immediately turned in by Seven. And Bluey, one of the best players in the world from what I see, just using very little forward space to get himself into the air and still be dangerous without having to rotate back.
Yeah, certainly, he was ahead of his time in the aerial game, and that has carried on to this day. He's been able to remain one of the most threatening aerial players in the game. Sometimes let down by his mentality, sometimes let down by his trust in his teammates, but hopefully for their sake, this weekend will not feature those days. Right now, they're looking to dispatch with the dangerous survivors team. It's very good news for Infused that they're doing it with such style. Bluey again facilitating Sebadam's second or maybe even third goal of the game.
And it was brought up last series. These cutting infield passes, you can do them anywhere on the pitch. Players will not be able to read it, and even if they do, they cannot react to it. So now 3 goals Infused find themselves at a huge advantage. They just have to carry this on. And small whiffs like that won't quite help them, but thankfully Bluey is on the back rotation.
It's so efficient as well to make those infield passing plays. Oh my goodness, Bluey from the tightest of angles, trying to shoot on net. But it's very good to see Infused trying to play efficient with their boost. Even if that passing play doesn't work, they've got so much boost left to recover and reposition after the fact. And that's going to be important later on if they want to win against the very, very top teams here. They would want to be in that conversation for being one of the top teams here, but their inconsistencies online really don't allow us to make that statement as of yet. But hey, a big performance at DreamHack Summer could elevate Infused to that level. Bluey's looking to do so.
Is just insane in the air right now. He is literally just a player that makes the goal even bigger. I don't know from that camera angle if that shot was actually on target, but Bluey likes to just make sure of it and make sure his name is the one that gets credited.
I don't think Bluey cares if it's on target or not. He is going to put it in regardless. And what started off as a 1-0, a glimmer of hope for survivors was nothing more than that. Just a glimmer on the edge of the huge cloud that is Infused. They're starting to be fully enveloped as we speak. Almost a minute remaining. And Infused up by 4. It doesn't look like the score will ever come back into survivors' favor.
Well, they'll look to try and get something going, but it's looking less and less likely as Infused are comfortable in their defense because they know survivors have to go for anything. They have to keep launching the ball towards them. So it becomes somewhat predictable, and these are huge misses. Nyx eventually recovering in time, but 4 goals in just over a minute is a lot of work to do, and Bluey's going to ensure with that save that it stays that way. We're heading into that final minute.
this might force Survivors into a bit of an awkward situation, because we do remember they won the first series of the day against Game Effect. So that means if Game Effect can go to the loser bracket, win their one game, we can see Survivors losing here. That will force a rematch. And it wasn't the most
it was one goal between them.
Yeah, it was overtime. It wasn't an easy series at all for Survivors to win. And they want to win that so badly because doing so helps them get into the money, which is, I mean, given how well Infused have demolished them this series, that's really all they can hope for right now.
Yep, Infused looking like they are at their best. These passing plays have been on point. Nothing really handed to them, although they have managed to get themselves a lot more space at downfield than they usually would against any of the more top teams. But as we head into the final 10 seconds, Team Infused will head out of their pool with a huge smile on their faces. They have convincingly made it into the next round.
And the question, will they be able to perform against the other top teams here? We're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that to be answered, because it's not likely that their next game will be against one of those top teams. They'll probably get a slightly easier game thanks to this first seed exit from their group. Doomsy, Bully, and Sebedam looking confident, just like they did at Insomnia 60. Will they be able to carry this forward as the tournament goes on? That remains to be seen. And worried faces in the side of Survivors, it has to be said.
Yeah, it really does. Team Infused looking solid all the way across the board, playing very well, and Survivors, they might have a run back waiting for them in that lower bracket. Let's get over to analyzing this. Wavepunk, over to you.
Thanks so much, Shogun. That was the last match we're going to see of Group A for the day. So we'll be moving on to another group, but Infused coming out in top form exactly like we expected to see Doomsy and the boys playing there. Survivors looked great in our first match, gave them a gave them a good game there in game number 1, but it really was Team Infused that was in control the whole way.
Yeah, it's nice to see Bluey on land stage show that he can do exactly what he has been doing online, which is just amazing redirects. He has great mechanical skill. He's one of the really good up-and-coming players, in my opinion, in Europe. And it's really nice to see him kind of try and establish himself, get Infused in here playing in the LAN environment. Since they just missed out on RLCS, I'm really excited to see them here this weekend.
For sure. It was beautiful to watch Infused just methodically dismantle Survivor's defense here. A few of their goals were just beautiful 1, 2, 3 passes to completely put it past all the defenders, put it in the goal. In control of the series the whole way through. They'll look great in the next stage. How you doing, Lawler?
Doing great. Got to saw some more Rocket League and a team actually have to compete against. We saw Survivors earlier in the day where they had the same kind of concept. They were able to just do the same thing over and over again and try to make it work. They get contested here, and it doesn't go in their favor. So the competition definitely starting to amp up.
Yeah, competition looking good here. Infused playing in top form. So thoughts about them, thoughts about Survivors right now. They look like they're probably the stronger team of this group of 4 other than Infused. So they will probably see them again in the round of 16. But right now, anything can happen there. Do you think that this loss is going to be too much?
I don't think so. I think they'll be able to bounce back. Like you said earlier, they're going against the team that they have played previously in the bracket, so that they have a little bit of familiarity there. Zidrox and Zed are both good players. I think they'll be able to take care of it in the lower bracket and try and move on and get another rematch against a team and keep themselves going.
Yep, we'll see later if we get to see Survivors again, but right now it's all about Infused. Infused coming out clean with a win there, 2-0 over Survivors, and we've got Doomsy here. How you doing, man?
I'm alright, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty. You were using my favorite wheels in the game, so
they are good wheels.
the Photons. Those are some nice
that
classy
takes me back
wheels.
to season 2. Then.
That's how you win Wave's heart, is just cosmetics. Doesn't matter about your gameplay, just as long as you look good.
Alright, well, so I've already won. I've already won DreamHack then.
You've already won, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I've got the good best wheels.
If you can coordinate the rest of your look around those wheels, you'll easily make it into. I have three names written down here. I can't like put you on the list just for the wheels. I need to see a better coordinated car to put you on the list. You got some
the
tough
20XX
competition.
is a pretty good decal though.
20XX is good. It's just not a photon matching decal. You know, it's pretty good. But talk to me about this match here. You guys looked in complete control basically the entire time. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It takes there's like an adjustment period when you go on the stage because you're used to playing, not on stage. So there's a bit of a warm up for the first game, but then you get into it and you get in the groove. So yeah, it definitely got better as we went on.
Yeah, you guys looked great.
Can you guys can you talk to us a little bit about what comms likes for you guys? I know you guys like to have fun, and when you're up on stage, are you guys still having fun?
Oh yeah.
Or are you serious and tone it down?
It's pretty much exactly the same on the stage as we are. I think because when you're on stage, you wanna, because there's a bit more pressure, you kind of have to pretty much do what you would do off stage. So
Sure.
it's
Do you
a
think
similar
that's-
environment.
Do you think that'll change though as like the days go on? Like when we get into tomorrow, like do you think you guys are gonna get a little bit more serious?
Yeah, I mean, we are like those 2 matches. We were serious. Like we were, you know,
No, you
when we're
weren't.
communicating,
Don't
we're
lie.
constantly saying.
Don't lie. Don't lie,
It's-
Doozy.
It's only
Don't
if,
lie.
like it's if we make a mistake, we'll just be like, oh, you know, like make some like silly noises or whatever, like I
Sure.
always do. But no, we always you gotta do it. You gotta keep the
Yeah.
energy pumping and
I,
like make
I
some jokes.
I still can easily say that I think Team Infused gives all the best interviews, because I remember seeing your interview in RLCS and Sebadam's interviews in RLCS were the 2 of the best interviews we ever had.
Are we
So
gonna
Should've
see
brought the
any
book
of
with
those
me.
antics? Like,
Oh,
do you have
I haven't got any
planned?
props with me, so I'm afraid.
I mean, you got tonight, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can make something happen.
Yeah. Not gonna practice. Just gonna work on my prop
yeah,
game.
just make the props.
Yeah.
That's how you win our
That's
heart.
what's
That
important.
and decorating your car. Those are the
Oh,
2
yeah. Okay.
important things.
Gee,
So
that-
this is the question I've been asking everybody here. Looking forward to the rest of the tournament. You guys looking like you're great into the next stage here. Which teams are you looking out for the most right now?
It's a weird one because there's a bit of roster shuffle at the moment.
Yes.
It's a bit of a roster mania. I think Gale Force on paper probably looks the most threatening. I don't know what flip side it's going to be like the Mystic. They're going to be obviously they're going to be really good. But,
Yeah. So, it's all
but
about
like
that
you know,
synergy.
like
Good
how-
assumption.
as good as what they were. I don't know. As with Greasy, I don't know. But like
Gale Force, that was just a complete. That was the biggest blowout I think I've seen since I started becoming a professional Rocket League caster on a
it was-
professional stage.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
for me, like, you guys, the last time you guys played a LAN had to go against a team that you are seeing again similarly under another name that is the opposite of you guys.
Oh. Diffused kids.
Yeah, so do you think if you guys run into the game, same problem, or are you going to be okay?
I think we'll be all right. We were scrimming them earlier. They did win more than us, but it was closer than I thought. I don't know. It was, you know, we can work out what to do and what not to do, and I think, yeah, it was definitely we have a good shot there as well.
Okay.
So I don't think it'll be quite so bad.
Just keep it in the back of the head, right?
Have you guys ever played at a LAN before as a team, or is this your first time for you or your teammates?
We played at Insomnia, I-60,
Okay.
where Diffused beat us 4-2 in the finals, which is
Yeah.
kind of annoying
Ah.
because we 3-0'd them early in the group stages and then 3-1 them as well. But then when it really mattered on the main stage, we lost 4-2.
You guys had jerseys and they didn't you? Wasn't that
Yeah,
true?
yeah.
That was. I remember watching that event and being like, "This is kind of funny to watch the team that's like got their suits and looking great with the kids just like in t-shirts." Just like, yeah,
Well,
let's
it's
just
funny
win.
too, because like Scrub Killer always comes up so like professional too. He's got his polo like buttoned all the way up, like he's super like cam ready to play.
Yeah.
And then he just crushes people.
Yep, he's fantastic. So is this your first time in Sweden? First time at DreamHack?
Yep, first time.
First time. How you liking it so far? How does it compare to Insomnia? Because I know you've been there a lot.
It's kind of like a similar vibe, really. Like,
Yeah.
Because you've got the BYOC sections where everyone's coming and gaming and stuff. But obviously, there's just like massive tournaments here, and it's an absolutely huge venue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
I
great.
remember thinking about the other similar events I've been to, and thinking about how like there's like one booth or like setup like this at those usually, and then there's like a whole bunch of other like Comic-Con-y sort of stuff, you know. And this event is just all of that. It's just take the one booth I liked the most and duplicate it 100 times, and that's what DreamHack is. You know, like this is my sort of event.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. It's been a lot of fun. You got any plans outside of DreamHack right now while you're in Jönköping?
Just good pronunciation.
Yeah, definitely did not
We've been
butcher
working
that.
on it all week.
Didn't butcher it at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, I think we're just gonna explore the city. Go to some
I'm
restaurants.
gonna be
have
honest. The
some
question was just so I could just try and say it one more time on air.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
things. keep trying. Mate.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
I care about what you have to say.
Yeah,
okay?
thanks, Laura. Thanks, man.
I'm here for Doomsy.
Yeah,
That's
alright?
good. That's
We're
good.
divided here at this desk.
No,
Karma
oh,
hasn't said any opinion, but I'm over here.
Rocket League Civil War. We can. This is not a very good.
I'm
plot.
trying to
right
remain
side.
neutral.
Dooms, you got any shout outs for anybody before I let you go?
I guess to all our supporters, like my family, because they love watching me as well, and my friends. So yeah, thanks
Fantastic.
for tuning in and supporting us.
Fantastic. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck
Thank you
in the
very
rest of the tournament.
Good luck,
And that will do it here for this match of the DreamHack Championship for Rocket League. But when we come back, we'll have some more matches from the next group stage, from the next group in this group stage. Gonna be exciting. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.